The Endangered Wolf Center has worked with wildlife for over 40 years and is one of St. Louis's best kept secrets. Joining us today is Executive Director Virginia Busch, and we're going to talk first about the center because it's been around. I was saying I have flashbacks as a child going out there for field trips and remember going out when I was young, but I have to admit I haven't been back since.
Yes, you're right. It's St. Louis's best kept secret, but it's been around for 45 years. Marlin Perkins is a name that is sort of slowly fading, but he founded it in 1971 with his wife, Carol Perkins. And I remember going there as a child. At the time, it was called the Wolf Sanctuary.
Yes, the Wolf Sanctuary.
And
yes.
really, he worked tirelessly to bring back from the brink of extinction Mexican wolves and red wolves. We went from 7 Mexican wolves left in the entire world now to about 100 in the wild and just under 300 or so in managed care. So that's a huge success. We're not out of the woods. It's a critically endangered species. But to do that right here in St. Louis, every single Mexican wolf can trace its roots back to the Endangered Wolf Center, and you can come see them.
Wow, and that was all just over the course of from when the center first started. That's pretty amazing. So what is it when people go out to the center? We do have a video that we're going to watch in just a second, but what do people experience? What can they, when you come to the center, what are they going to see?
It's great. We are nestled within Tyson Research Center, which is Washington University's land. On 2,000 acres, we take about 30 to 40 acres of that, and our enclosures are very large for our animals. We have 6 different species, so you can see Mexican wolves, red wolves, swift fox, painted dogs, maned wolves, and fennec foxes.
Okay, so what is that photo?
That was Anna. She was one of our matriarchs. She passed away last year, but she had over 41 puppies in her lifetime, which is record-breaking. So she contributed hugely to her species.
Wow.
One of our, we loved her. That was our big matriarch. But you can see Mexican wolves. That's what she is. And then you can also see red wolves, which I think you have as another. There you go. Red wolves are one of those very critically endangered species. There's 29 left in the wild in North Carolina, and we used to have them in St. Louis. So you could hear these guys howl 100 years ago in your backyard.
Yeah, I mean, the work that you're doing, obviously, tremendous and needed. And I think what's so sad, but also at the same time, I mean, I just can't believe that we are even talking about 29 of one species of animal left in the world.
It's crazy, and those are the type of numbers, you know, we hate to get down to those low of numbers, but that's why we're here. The Endangered Wolf Center is wonderful to go out and to bring your children, your family, to learn about it, become environmental stewards, not only for these wonderful animals, but really any animal, because you think about it, human-wildlife conflict is huge these days. Habitat shrinking. There's less area for these animals to live. So how do we do that in harmony and conjunction? In our event on October 8th, you can learn about that with our different vendors and how you can really get in touch with wildlife.
Well, we're going to take a look at this video that you have so people can learn more and see some footage as well.
Great.
Let's take a look.
Here in St. Louis, the Endangered Wolf Center has been around for over 40 years, but it is the best kept secret in St. Louis, and we don't want it to be that way.
When you come to the Endangered Wolf Center, you are witnessing conservation in action. The Mexican wolves and the red wolves that you see here all have a chance to go into the wild someday.
Every single Mexican wolf can trace its roots back to the Endangered Wolf Center.
Keystone species or apex predators like wolves, pumas, bears are extremely important to the environment, to keeping an ecosystem healthy and balanced. And once they're removed, you start to see a trickle-down effect of the ecosystem kind of falling apart. And we've seen that before in places like Yellowstone.
We saw elk and we saw moose and all of those large ungulate populations skyrocket. They were eating everything in sight. And so all of the trees, all of the riparian areas where beavers used to have their dams and songbirds lived in those trees, they were eaten down to just the very nubs. When they started reintroducing those wolves back, you started to see a little bit of an equalization coming back. Those wolves were keeping those animals in check. They were keeping the animals more robust and moving and more alert, so they weren't staying in one section longer. And then the beaver came back and the songbirds came back, and so this ecosystem started to equalize. And now Yellowstone is a proven product. Ecosystems really need every single piece of the puzzle. Nature is carefully balanced. We have to be careful of how much impact we have as humans.
They have families just like us, and they go through the ups and downs and the dramas, and you see mom and dad discipline the young ones, and they teach them how to survive in the wild, and it's just such a dynamic animal.
Marlin Perkins was the director of the St. Louis Zoo in the late 60s, and he was the host of Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom. He and his wife Carol founded the Endangered Wolf Center in 1971.
Education is a key component to recovering endangered species, and so we have tons of different fun programs for people to come and learn about the endangered canids that we're taking care of. The more you know about endangered species, the more you can help, the more you're empowered, and the more you can pass on that information to others.
Ultimately, conservation is about people. It's about the actions that people take to affect change, to affect wildlife and wild places. It's learning how to recycle, making the right choices on the products that you buy that affect trees and wildlife across the planet, doing those little things every single day. Conservation is something that's not just for scientists, it's not just for researchers, but it's for every single person, and you can make a difference.